Okay, thanks. I'm Helen, a compulsive eater. Weigh and measure my food from the gray sheet. Turn it over to a sponsor. Don't eat in between, no matter what. And being abstinent is the most important thing I do. And I had some pictures I thought I would share. So let me just do that quickly. And okay, I'm on the right screen. So this is these are pictures when I first came in. I came in the late 90s, just as GSA was forming. And so I had 100 pounds that I had put on. And that wasn't, that was something that happened in my later 30s. So I really had to, I really needed to be at that point for the gift of desperation, because I was desperate. That was a really difficult weight. I also so that's just one part of my story. And I wanted to show you some food prep pictures, like this one, which is I really liked being systematic. And, I find that the consistency made it, I just felt like I could set it up so that I didn't make mistakes. I mean, it just easier, make the kitchen, dirty fewer times. Anyway, so that's a green vegetable that I would put 1 ounce of uh or a tablespoon of my fat in, and then put back in the freezer. This is just another shot. And then this shot is ironically, oh no, this is not I was in Ireland once. This is my Nova Scotia shot in 2018, weighing and measuring by the side of the road. Just the fact that this program is very portable and you can certainly travel with it. This is a picture that I look like beyond excited that I'm weighing. This is a breakfast protein. By the way, this came from an album, and I scanned these pictures. This is in the year 2000, and I was 3 years abstinent. I started counting days later again, but that's the history of these pictures. I never did pictures after that year, but that's a long time ago. And this is a picture of me living out on the right, bedroom slippers, quite literally just eating my food out of a bowl. I know lots of people can identify, just being as relaxed as I possibly could be. So I've always loved that slogan, put on bedroom slippers. So I will just close this and open up this again. And I would never have learned how to share a screen if I didn't, like, not for work or for any other reason, except that I had to learn to do it to share my pictures. So that's a nice benefit, and it's a threefold illness. As I always, I want to say the things that I used to hear all the time, and some of them I still hear all the time, but it's different. I mean, and I really, I guess what I'm trying to say is that it really means a lot to me that I was here all those many years ago. And I ended up, just as a little caveat, I picked up a condiment in the middle of the night in the month before I was going to hit 20 years. And I say that to, of course, brag, but also to say that it was like the red, it was a red light that went on, because I was out of control with gum and sweeteners. And it's just a funny, I mean, I think it's funny, like, you picked up a condiment in the middle of the night, like a yellow condiment. So, and I never left. I just started, I did tell my sponsor, and I started counting again. Anyway, doesn't that make me terrific? So, so I just, like, that's just the background a little bit. And, not to, so, I still use sweeteners. I have never touched gum again, and it was wonderful. It was truly was something I just, it went away. It was totally lifted, which I didn't believe in, which people, for years, when I shared about it being out of control, people said, oh, when you're ready, you'll give it up. so anyway, I'm not saying that that's going to happen with sweeteners, but at least it's within some manageable parameters, and with my sponsors, over with my sponsors, whatever you call your sponsors thing.
10
Help.
minutes left, Helen.
Oh, thank you. I love that. I love the sign. So it's a threefold illness. So, and I love slogans. So I decided, okay, I'm going to pick my favorite slogan for each of those, for each level of the disease. So for the physical, I heard this all the time, and it was just, it's bottom line, the fact of one bite is too many and 1,000 isn't enough. And I even spoke to someone this week who is not doing what we do, but had to, for medical reasons, give up carbs and sugars, all the things we don't eat. She doesn't weigh her food, but and she said, and I won't touch a thing, a carb or sugar, because I know what will happen. I said, wow, I never heard of anyone saying that who wasn't in Gray Sheet. And I think she'll keep her weight off. The other thing, the spiritual thing is, I needed this very badly because I just don't feel the whole, I guess the whole spiritual part of the program is, for whatever reason, I've struggled with, and the way I've gotten around it, and it's so basic and so true for who we are, is that the most spiritual thing I'll do in a day is weigh and measure my food. And I'm not, like, that's the truth. And the most spiritual people believe that too. So, it's a great thing. And I just, it just means the world to me, because as someone who might doubt herself, as someone, for all the conversation in my head, I could do this thing, like I could do it. And I could do it well. That's why I loved all the organization. So I'm really, I just really cling to that still today. And the emotional, this is also so helpful to me, so much about what this program has meant to me over all the years of my life. And now it's, I came into my 30s. I mean, it'll soon be half of my life. Like, I'm in my mid 60s, so that's pretty good. And so it's totally like, I can't, I mean, I don't want to know what would happen if I wasn't doing this, because I know what it was like before. And the emotional piece was, if I don't come first, no one comes second. And I used to talk a lot about that because, coming, taking care of myself, always thinking about myself before anyone else, always rang these ding, 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 ding bells about that. Selfish, we don't do that. And, growing up in a house where, like, a mother who, did everything for everyone else and was very angry about it, but still, that was her life, cooking and cleaning and being there for everyone else. And someone who had a hard childhood and never did anything to kind of, it was all for us. And, that's not a great way to be raised, but, it's not about her, and it's about me. And, it's all about, I can nurture myself. And so it's not about blaming her, but I used to talk a lot about the impact of having that kind of upbringing. And it kind of left me as something I need to talk about. I have like a whole 2-page list of my favorite slogans, broken down by the categories of the disease, the program, and the food. So I'm not, whatever, I actually have a copy of it if you want me to send it to you. But I do love the slogans. And another reason is because I don't have any other program that I'm part of. I didn't come in through AA. Which, of course, if I can find anything to make me feel less than, it's a given, so that's going to be one thing that makes me feel less than, all the people who have all that AA background. And I never actually joined any of the other programs, though I looked into them, and people, like, I could see how wonderful they were. And I admired all the people that could do more than just Gray Sheet. And I just thought, no, I can't handle doing more meetings and more program, so that's kind of part of the story of being a compulsive overeater, and why this works so well for me, why Gray Sheet works so well for me. I'm easily overwhelmed. And here I have a system that I can use. My food is delicious. You know, it's very important to get that in because I could never do this if it was a program of deprivation. And we always used to say that. It's not about deprivation. I know.
Five
Now,
left.
1 minute, 5 minutes. Okay.
Big
So
five.
okay, so this thing, not just, I hope this doesn't sound a touch negative. And I always used to talk in the beginning like, oh my God, you know, how like, it was always about sounding negative or sounding positive because there was so much going on in my head. But, you know, we talk about the biggest, the best, the gooeyest. I'm still very big on volume, you know, and I just heard someone use an expression the other day on a meeting. You can do this either light and white, or you can do it like heavy and greasy. And, you know, this is just for me, it's been I pretty much could eat whatever I wanted. And you know, I feel like maybe it's a little bit different now that I'm in my 60s and I'm going to have to make other choices, which I can, but I don't have to. And, you know, it's up to me how heavy I want to eat. And it's not a moral issue. That's a very important slogan to me. Because for me, everything's a moral issue. Like, ask me about anything in my life, and I'll find a way to tell you how, you know, how I'll make it a moral issue. Like I should be this and I'm not that, or this. And I I know that there's like such a metaphor for doing this program and living my life, so that this has given me the freedom that I need between my meals. I'll feel guilty about the fact that now I can go on a schedule where I eat on the early side. And, you know, just listening to people talk about waiting late. And I used to do that and I can do that. But like tonight, I'm going to a Seder. And I know that the host has planned certain things that I could eat. I know she hasn't like ruined her menu for it, but she wanted me to know you can have these two vegetables, you can have this protein. And I'm just going back and forth in my head. Do I want to, like, what do I want to do? You know, one part of me wants to eat before and just be full and satisfied. And, you know, it's like, I'm doing this long enough to have done both. I've brought my food, eaten with people, and I've also eaten before and I've also eaten after. Well, these are great. These are all choices. And, I don't know. Like, I'm still torn though. Like, here I have to make this choice and oh, am I going to feel tense because I'm just like, and I'm not sure. And usually it's clearer for me. I wish she hadn't told me she made all that food for me. It's easier when I know there's nothing I can eat. I think it's a little bit trickier, but I've gone to places and weighed and brought. So here you go. This is my dilemma as a gray sheeter. It's not like, am I going to eat something off the gray sheet? Am I going to eat on that? You know I can do it. And now my choice is, do I want to do it this way or that way? So I guess there's some philosophy that say having choice is not always the best thing. Easier to have fewer choices, which in some ways I could, make a case for with eating abstinent. I know that it's the easier, softer way. I know that no matter how much I may be waiting for my next meal, and I used to think, what's the difference? I could just be in the food waiting to eat. No, it's hugely different. And it's like not even in the same, ballpark. I know that I get to live a quality life in between my meals, even though people used to say my three favorite times of day are breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And when I would hear people say it, who I respected and who had great lives, I thought, all right, I'll never be normal around food. Thank you, 1 minute. And I wanted to get that in because I will still, like a crazy person, have 4 drinks, my cold drink, my hot drink, my coffee, my this, and it's okay. It's okay. Again, not a moral issue. So I guess the important thing is to go to meetings, do service. Like, it wasn't I wouldn't have volunteered to do this meeting, just saying that it's okay. I'm not like Miss Altruistic, but I'll do what I need to do. And I'll always feel better for doing it. And my last slogan is, You get self-esteem by doing esteemable acts, and that works for me. So glad I could be here, sort of, and look forward to hearing all of you.